Structure and ADHD. Those two things don't seem to go hand in hand. Like we need structure in order to have success with managing our ADHD. And therein lies the problem. You see, I've been diagnosed with ADHD and autism. So I kind of have these two things pulling left, right. I'm getting pulled both ways. Is that I thrive off of structure with my autism, but I also need that spontaneity with my ADHD. I don't want to plan too much. I just want to go in. Like even for this video, I've written a few little notes, but it'll probably still be a good few minutes because I want to be spontaneous. Yeah, spontaneous about the content that comes across. But I always notice in my business, in my body, in my health, in my relationships, the places where I've had the most success with using my ADHD as a superpower, I've had to have structure. And that's what I work with clients because we need to build that structure that works with you individually and the way you work with your ADHD. Now, I am the combined type ADHD, so I'm very impulsive, and there is the hyperactivity. And I think that the way I've developed my structure won't work for everyone. And that's why working individually on a one-to-one basis really, really helps these clients get that structure. And there are three places that I really look to develop structure. Four really, but one of them is two of the things go into one. The first one is your nutrition. And that is basically structure to do the small things and build up. So many times I see people that want to drop weight. And that's if that's your goal, great. If you want to drop weight, that's your goal. But people will get 4 weeks before a holiday and they're like, oh, I'm going on holiday. I want to drop 2 stone. I want to drop 20 pounds before holiday. So they start starving themselves. Or we have all good intentions because we've had a weekend where we've had these sugar binges and these big dopamine highs off food that we go into Mondays and Tuesdays and we have zero carbs and we start blaming carbohydrates. They're the problem. They're the issue when it comes to stopping us losing weight. And we need to work on how can we build a structure in that allows us to be okay at the weekends, but still have a bit of flexibility. And through the week, when we can have a bit more routine, it allows us to be pretty decent. So we're not starving ourselves. And even then, so many times people say that I get to the evening and I just want sugar. And when we look at the nutrition protocols, we look at the food diaries that people give me, it's there in the morning, protein shake, then it might be a yogurt, might be a chicken breast with a few vegetables, and then they're on like 800, 900 calories. And then it gets to the evening and they're just bam, 3,000 calories just gone down the hatchet in chocolate, sugar, biscuits, all these different things. And then there's a problem because they can't sleep and the next day they feel bad about it. And that's where we need to develop structure of finding what is going to be enough in terms of fuel to help you support your body, to help you support your brain function. We know that you're going to be thinking so much. So we need to support that with the right calories. We know that glucose is one of the ways your brain will fuel. So we don't want to go too low on carbohydrates. And we want to balance your blood sugar. So we need to make sure your protein is up. So we have to build structure in here. And the same thing with supplementation. That was the fourth subject, which actually goes into nutrition, is that we need structure to build the right supplementation into your nutrition protocol. But the structure comes in as when do you remember to take your medication? When do you remember to take your supplements? And we have to put them in a place where some supplements might be great, where you take a digestive enzyme every meal, and then you have magnesium before bed, and you have your vitamin D before bed, but then you've got to have your zinc in the morning. And before you know it, you've got 10 different times to take supplements. When do you remember to take each one? So putting your supplements in a simple protocol, which is usually morning and night. Is that going to be the 100% most perfect, optimal way to take these supplements? No, not necessarily, but it's going to be the way that you actually remember to take them. So we have to build structure to say these supplements are going to be ones that are going to be in the morning. These supplements are going to be ones that you should maybe take with your last meal or before bed. So there's 2 times when you take your supplements. And then we place those supplements, maybe the first ones, but before you take your ADHD meds or before you have your morning coffee or something that you do every day regularly, you put your supplements there and that's where you take them. So they're not in another drawer. They're not hidden away. They're out on display. My wife hates it when I have to do that, literally putting my supplements on display in order to remember to take them. But if I don't, if they're in a drawer, I'm going to forget one or two of them. So we have to build it, setting ourselves up for success. The same with training. And it goes back to what I said about being extreme with nutrition is that training can give a big dopamine hit. We see really hard workouts with these high roxes, CrossFit. We look at running, we look at smashing ultra marathons, we look at boxing and stuff like that. They're high intensity workouts. They get the heart rate going, they give this big dopamine rush. But the problem is that dopamine high, it's not the same when it comes down. It usually goes below baseline. So we need another kick up to get that high again. So we need to look at what are your actual goals? Do you want training to manage blood glucose? Well, we don't want to be so stressed. We need to push enough stress for cardiovascular fitness, but getting good resistance training to build muscle, to help stabilize glucose, to help your body overall, to increase your metabolic rate so that when you do have these times where you just eat rubbish, because inevitably they are going to happen, let's not beat ourselves up for when they do happen. We need to make sure that our body is in a place to be able to utilize that glucose, utilize those sugars, and start to thrive off of it. So we don't then have bad sleep, which leads to a worse training session, which leads to worse nutrition, and that vicious circle happening. And then the third thing we have to have. So we've got nutrition and supplementation, we've got training, but when we build structure into clients' plans, we need to work out how to optimize their sleep. So many people say to me, I am a night owl. I say, good. Okay. Turn all the lights off and try and see in the dark. No one is as much of a night owl as people think. There are slight differences in circadian rhythms and body clock, but we're talking about an hour here and there. Not that everyone does the work. What we usually see is that is a dysfunction in your HPA axis, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. And we are kicking up cortisol at the wrong time of day. That nighttime, the night that we need to recover and rejuvenate and actually get all these process of detoxification in and start creating new cells, we need to sleep and we need to get good quality sleep. So many people, they're wearing this hustle badge of honor on their sleeve that, oh, we're getting 3 hours sleep. I saw a creator the other day saying, I work from 7:30 to 1 a.m. Some people aren't built for this. No, some people are built to be healthy and get their body in a more productive state to actually get more done during the day. That I get. We have to have days we have to hustle. We have to have days we have to push. But if you're doing that all the time, you are going to be burning out, especially when it comes to ADHD. And there are going to be times where you do 2-3 works of hustle mode, and then suddenly you've got a month of just being inconsistent. And that's where if we get your nutrition right, we get your training right, we get your sleep routine right, and build structure into your plan, you can absolutely thrive with ADHD. You can use it as your superpower. And that even goes when you're taking medication. I have to take Elvance for my ADHD. But if I do not have good structure, if I do not have good nutrition, if my supplements is off, it's pointless taking Elvance. Absolutely pointless. And I've had clients that have noticed the same thing. I've had clients that have not needed to go on the medication route because their body has been able to work really well when it comes to just working on nutrition, training, and sleep. And then clients that have had Elvance and they've said, oh, I don't notice anything. We've done 3-4 months working together, and that Elvance has been able to lower the dose, and their titration process is steady and it works for them. They're getting the benefits out of their actual medication and using that ADHD, that neurodiversity, as a superpower. So if you need support with that, if you want to work on getting your ADHD to be your strength, then drop me a message. Let's look at how we can optimize your nutrition, your supplementation. Let's do a blood test if we need to. Let's look at nutrient deficiencies if we need to. Let's work on your training, and let's work on getting you to sleep through the night. So you're sleeping and recovering and actually rejuvenating your body so you're able to thrive with energy throughout the day. And drop me a message and let's get on a call straight away. Thank you for watching.